Well, New Year's this year, the preparation side of it's probably one of the worst things about the whole jump itself. You know, for me, I like to try and prepare the best I can, and unfortunately, this New Year's, I just ran into some things I couldn't control. You know, I had an ongoing back injury, which is a blown disc in my lumbar spine. So going out to Australia right before the New Year's was coming up, you know, I went out there for Red Bull X Fighters in Sydney, blew my back out again, and suffered a head injury. But on top of that, at the same time, I also filled out my immigration paperwork wrong, so I missed out on my green card and had to resubmit all the paperwork. So the back injury definitely threw a spanner in the works, but then the issue with the green card, it stopped me coming out to the US for 2 months. So those 2 months were directly scheduled practice, you know, training with Red Bull and with Levi Lavali and with the whole crew, and just not being able to be there was frustrating for me. I think it was disappointing really for everyone involved, but being out of our control, I just had to roll with the punches and just see what happened. And you know, it kind of turned into a situation where I felt behind the 8 ball, and I hate being like that. And once I was at that point, you know, when I came home, it was more of like just saving the day really. It was like I come out here and I had to prove to everyone involved that everything was sweet, nothing for anyone to stress about. And I figured myself, like, you know, I'd done a lot of distance jumps, and I figured it was just a matter of getting more speed, and then I could go out and I for sure felt 400 feet was definitely within my rights. But you know, as we got there testing, there's a few little things I overlooked, and one of them was the fact I was jumping the new YZ 450F, and it's just I've never jumped a 4-stroke before purely. So to go out there and jump a new bike with a lot more inertia in it and different weight kind of balances throughout it, I didn't have a set suspension setting to go to, and the bike I jumped previously on long distance jumps was a 2-stroke. So once I came to do the practice, I overshot. Well, didn't really overshoot, but I just landed heavy, and you know, the suspension, the way I'd requested for it to be set up, actually was too stiff in the front, and it was too soft in the rear. So we had some issues there, and with time kind of ticking away, we were unable to do the required amount of testing, and I ended up did some jumps that got me out to 360 odd feet, and we pulled it back the next increment to go to shoot for 400. And the day that I was meant to show up to shoot for 400, the day prior to that, I'd gone to do some motoing at Parla and actually re-injured my back. And so I had another week's downtime, had a cortisone injection put in my back, and that got me through the jump. But what we were unable to do was test anymore, and I rolled into the jump with a different suspension testing, and we jumped. You know, I jumped 392 feet on my final day of practice, and got the world record and jumped further than anyone jumped a dirt bike before. But to redo that on the night, to go that little bit further and get the 400 was the goal. And just, you know, with all the kind of issues we had with the different suspension, and then we went and adjusted the ramp on the angle, the angle on the ramp, just to hopefully buy us a little bit further, more distance. And with all the kind of changes we made, just made the jump itself real freaky for me. You know, I wasn't sure if it was going to kick me. I wasn't sure on a few things. And then with the weather the way it was, and it was really foggy, I got wheel spin, and actually ran about 4 miles an hour slower than what I'd done in the practice, and landed kind of substantially shorter. But it's one of those things, you know, I kind of take it on the chin, and for me, I was just stoked to land the other side and be safe. And I'm excited now to put everything we learned in the practice together and get the recipe right on another date. And I know 400 is definitely within my limits, and I know that jumping further than the snowmobile is definitely up my sleeve too. So I'm just looking forward to that date to kind of get all the pieces of the puzzle right and go out and send it.